Hey loves, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody that's there for the first time, welcome to my channel. This is the pawn shop, Ashena's Nail Artistry, where we do bomb-ass nails every time. So today I am going to do a pink and purple butterfly set. She already came with her design, she knew what she wanted, so all I did was help her to choose or have her choose her shade of colors. So we are first going to start with the purple, and check out that purple now, dude. Let me tell you now, purple is life. You hear me? Life. So anyways, so we're going to put a very thin layer of the colored acrylics, and that is important because when you're doing full encapsulation, meaning you have to put clay on the top, you really don't want to put the acrylic thick and then have to put another thick coat of clay, because then your nails gonna look too bulky, and not because it's acrylic doesn't mean the nails have to look fake. You check. So we are just going to put a thin layer of the purple on every nail, and that's how I like to do my ombre. I like to do my ombres one color at a time. So I go ahead and I put the purple first. Notice that I pay very close attention to maintaining my shape, because if you maintain your shape while you're applying your acrylic, you will have very little filing to do when it comes to the finished product. Okay, now I speed up most of the video because, you know, already pressed for time. I didn't want to have all you sit down there watching me do everything in real time, so I do 2 of the fingers in real time and then I speed up the rest. And so when you see that kind of a magic happening there, just know I speed up the video. You check. Anyways, so we do all the purple first, and then we go ahead and do the pink. We pay close attention to our corners and the ends of our nail, and if you notice, I am only taping one hand because, again, I don't want for you to really sit down there and watch me do the very same thing 10 times. I mean, that don't make no sense. So I just do one hand and I just go in with it step by step. So right now we move on to the pink, and the very same rule applies. A very thin layer of the pink, and you blend it. Try as seamlessly as possible to blend it into the purple. Now, because the pink and the purple is very pigmented, it is very difficult to find high contrast colors to ombre well. You have to play around with it a lot, and because of that, you work with beads that are a lot wetter than normal, so that it moves into the following color more seamlessly. If you work with a dry bead, you're going to be fighting kung fu for it to blend well, and we don't want that, right? So if you notice, I wet my brush very often and I wipe my brush very often. That is important to prevent your brush from building up acrylic, and it prevents cross contamination with your powder and your monomer. Because if I continue to dip my brush in the powder and dip it back in the monomer without wiping it, after a certain time, my monomer gonna start to come cloudy and it gonna come sticky and it's not gonna work. And then I just have to throw very expensive liquid gold. So we can't do that. So I just take my time and I just wipe my brush as I go in, paying very close attention to my shape. As you can see, always wipe, deep wipe. That's how we do it, so that you can continue to work and not have to stop and wipe your brush, clean your brush, and all that stuff. Now, in case you're wondering, I am currently using a size 18 brush. Yes, 18 brush. If you are a beginner nail tech, you would start with size maybe 8 or size 10, which is ideal for a beginner. But because I've been doing nails for umpteen years, I am on size 18. I do fluctuate between 18 and 16, and for some persons I would use size 12 or size 10. It all depends on the size of the person's nail bed or the job that I want to do. Now we're moving on to the natural base, and this acrylic color I actually created myself, and I call it just natural because it's just like a natural shade of nail bed color, and it have a little bit of glitter in it. Now all you elas, I try really hard to get a close-up video to be able to focus well on the cuticle line, but alas, as I go in I learn in. I will try next time. I figured some things I can do a little different to be able to get the camera to focus more sharply on what I'm doing, so that all you can have a better look at how I am applying it, because I know I have some beginner nail tech who are currently looking for tips on how to apply cleaner beads. So I apologize all you, I tried, but I have some little tricks that I'm going to try in my future video for filming. Okay, so when you're applying our cuticle bead, these beads are usually the smallest beads that you can apply, right? Now do not get intimidated by the size of my brush. The bigger brush does not make you do the work better. What makes you do your work well is how you control your product, as well as how you control your brush. So the cuticle beads are usually wetter and they are smaller, and whenever you come to applying the cuticle bead, what I like to do is, as you can notice, I angle the client's fingers downward, because gravity can actually help you to apply your acrylic better. I know you'd have some persons that let me tell you, their hands just be stiff. They more want to see what you doing on their hand than you seeing what you're doing on their hand, and that is something that is normal. It's a natural human response for you to always want to see what is happening in your hand. But as a tech, you can always just tell the customer to relax and let go their fingers so that you can see what you're doing. So that's what I normally do. I take my time and I apply the natural, and if you notice, the natural is blending into the pink, but it is not coming into the purple. So the purple is first, the pink comes into the purple, and then the natural comes into the pink, so it looks like one color. And that is the best way you can do an ombre. Your ombres are not, so you're not supposed to see any harsh lines when you're doing an ombre. If you have harsh lines, it simply means that you're probably using too much product, or I know that some products are a lot more pigmented than others, and that can be very frustrating. But if you take your time and you work with smaller portions and smaller beads, then you can control your product a little better. Okay, by the way, it's me alone that I have a favorite finger when doing nails. I always rather do somebody's thumbnail than any other nail. I swear I have a problem, but I don't know if it's because it's a larger surface, it's easier to do. I don't know what the case is, but anyways, so moving on. Now we are going to encapsulate the colors, and we are going to use clay. When you are encapsulating acrylic, you have to work with very wet beads, because acrylic is a funny thing. Acrylic can crystallize before it sets, and what that means is that by the time the acrylic dry, it creates a effect that looks like it's frosty before it dries, and that can happen very often when you are applying beads that are too dry. So before you actually cover the nail successfully, it has already started to crystallize, and then you apply more acrylic on top of it, and it is already dried underneath. So whenever you file and you reveal the design, you'll notice it under the nail itself have little bubbles, or looking like little holes in the nails, or scratches in the nails, or looking like as though you just didn't do a good job covering it, because your clay on your nails really acts as a glass, and that's the effect that you want. You don't want it to look like you made a mistake on the nails. You just want it to look see-through as best as possible. So I encapsulate all the nails with my clay. Oh, also tip, Whenever you are going to encapsulate your nail, it is advisable to change your monomer. So you start with some fresh monomer so that any contaminated powder or glitter that you may have applied while you were constructing your nails is not stuck in the clay acrylic and doesn't go where you don't want it to go. Because one thing you don't want to do is to do all your hard work creating your nice pretty set, and then when you finish, now you see in 5 little specks of gold or 5 little specks of silver, blue, pink, yellow, green, whatever the color is, where you don't want it to be. You don't want that, because that kind of a thing, I don't know for others, but for me, that does trigger my OCD. I just feel like I have to just file back all the clay from the nail and re-encapsulate it, because again, it does trigger my OCD, and my conscience and my eyes just wouldn't let me do it. Now, if you have reached that far in the video, thank you so much for logging in and watching me do nails. Now look at how nice the nails looking, and I haven't even filed it yet. This is how it looks after the application. This is what you want. The crispier your nails look after your application is the less time you will spend filing your nails. Trust me, it saves a lot of time. Now at that point, we just go in and cleaning the cuticle lines. Now again, I am using a tapered cuticle bit. This is a very sharp tool, and if you are not trained on how to use tools properly, you will butcher your clients. You will cut them, you will cause them to bleed, you will cut into their cuticles, and let me tell you now, cut cuticles does hurt like a mother. So you don't want to do that. You take your time. If you have training, some people can use their hand file, but it doesn't give you that crisp look. I like using my tapered cuticle bit because again, it gives you that crisp looking, like the acrylic coming straight from your cuticle line. You don't have no bumps, no lumps. And again, if you started your foundation well and you took your time and did a proper application, you will not need to do a lot of that finishing filing, because you would have done most of the work already in your application. Now I am going underneath the nails. Now if you notice, look at how my nails are. You notice that they are not very thick. I hate to see thick nails. I hate to see it. You don't have to wear your nails thick. I know some people that say, oh, you have to wear the nails thick for it not to break. That's not true. If your nail is not structured properly, it will definitely break. If your nail is structured properly, it will not break. Okay, so I go ahead and I buff the nails. Right now I'm using a 240 buffer, and I do that on all the nails, both at the top and then underneath the tip, so that I can smooth out any sharp edges. Once I finish with that stage, I send the customer to wash her hands, and then I let her choose her type of butterflies that she wants to use, and we start the magic. Now these are water decals, and let me tell you, not all water decals are created equal. Some of them, they're going on smooth and nice, and then some of them, they just give you wood. Let me tell you, they just give you stress. But anyways, so to help the decals adhere to the nail, I will first go ahead and I apply base coat, and then I cut off the decals and put them in water, and I place them on the nail one by one. Now it looking like that goes so fast, but let me tell you now, that took me a good 10 minutes to do, because those stickers there was troublesome. But anyways, it was worth it, and you can see it coming together. I apply the top coat, very thin layers, and making sure that I cap my edges. It is very important to cap your edges. That would avoid your polish from peeling, and even if it's just top coat and it's clear, you always practice capping your edges so that you don't miss it when you are applying normal or regular gel colors, because you also need to cap them when you're doing that. We're going to cure for 30 seconds in the lamp, and then you're going to see the magic. Oh my god, I don't know, purple is my favorite color, so whenever I do sets like that, I just want it for myself. Check that out, all you. I well wish that was my fingers. But anyways, the customer was overly satisfied. Look at how seamless that looks. The purple and the pink and then the natural. Look at that. Subscribe, all you, subscribe. I'm going to try my best to post one video, at least one video a week. Alas, I'm going to try. But this is the finish. Thank you so much for staying with me. Remember to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and click on the notification bell so you can get the alert as soon as I upload another video. Bye.